Hey, welcome back to Woodruff Woods. Hey, today what we're going to do is we're going to service my 2032R John Deere. Um, when I parked the tractor last weekend, I was away on a business trip this week. I noticed that I had reached 400 hours on the machine. So according to the manual, this is an important service. You have to service the transmission. But I'm actually going to service the transmission, the engine oil, the fuel filters, and the air filter element. The reason I'm doing all of that is I tend to operate my tractor in a lot of dusty and wet conditions. So being that I do bush hog with the tractor, the air filter probably needs a good service. Even though I've blown it out a few times, it's probably just time to put a new filter in there. The engine oil is due. I change that regularly, but it is due now. I kind of timed it that way so that I would have a major service, and then I'm going to lubricate all of the Zerk fittings around the tractor. When you own a machine like this, it's just so important to take care of it. That's what will give you the longevity out of the machine. And I like to take care of my equipment. So what I'm going to do is, for those of you that do have a 2032R or 2038R, I'm going to show you how to do this service. This machine actually has something very unique, at least unique in my experience. The transmission on this actually has two filters. One is for the hydraulic system, which kind of feeds hydraulics to all of your implements, and the other is an actual transmission filter. I kind of like that setup because your oil is constantly getting filtered, and obviously when you plug into an implement, even no matter how hard you try to keep everything clean, there's always dust and stuff that may get into your oil. So this is a good way for the machine to filter that and not have it run through your system constantly. So we're going to get started. Hope you'll stick around and watch what I have going on today. Thanks. So I've raised the hood. On this particular model, which is the same for the 2038R, there's a little push pin or something that releases the hood. It is one of the worst designs Deere's ever come up with. Why they didn't just put something there where you can do it with your hand. But you have to get a small screwdriver or something to open that. But I'm taking these panels off because it just makes access a little bit easier. And all you do, you can see, take these, turn them a quarter of a turn, and this will just pop out. So I have you under the tractor right now. You can see as I got under here to drain my transmission fluid, I noticed this just hanging, and it's supposed to attach here. So obviously somewhere along the way I have lost a pin. So I got delayed here this morning. I had to run to my dealer and was able to get the necessary parts to hook this back up. But the only reason I show this to you is it's really important to do a visual inspection of your tractor from time to time. I wouldn't have noticed this probably unless I was doing this service on the tractor. So anyway, I'm going to get this all put back together here, and then we'll start draining fluids. So I have you positioned on the left side of the tractor, as though you were seated in the seat on the left side. We've removed this larger filter right here, and if I get you up in here, we're in the process of removing this one. I'm letting it drain right now so I don't have as much of a mess, but nonetheless you can see that this is getting everywhere. I did read or saw from Tractor Time with Tim that electrical cleaner will clean this off easy, so I'm going to try that here when we're done. But right now I got an issue. I can't get the plug out. The plug is, actually you can probably see my wrench back in there. So I'm going to try to get a breaker bar on that and loosen that up. It's on there very tight. So we'll do that. That'll be the next step. Drain the transmission fluid. I'll replace the plug, and then we'll put these new filters on right up in here and fill it back up with hydraulic fluid. This tractor uses high guard
So I did buy that right from the dealer. I don't know. I know that John Deere doesn't have a hydraulic fluid factory, and they're probably buying it somewhere else, but I do try to use the John Deere products on this because I know they're spec'd for it. So anyway, I will get that plug out, drain this, and we'll move on to changing the engine oil. Just so you know, I'm using a 1 inch and 16ths yeah, 1 16th inch socket for this. It may actually be metric, but I'm using a hex socket, so it does work. And that should be good enough that I can turn this out by hand. As I said, it was on there very tight. So, ready to take a bath here, as I said. So actually that transmission fluid doesn't, or hydraulic fluid, doesn't look too bad. I'm hopeful that that's indicative of, you know, keeping things clean. I think it's gonna run all over if I don't plug it. I don't know if it filled or if I just have a blockage in here. Let this go down a little bit. You can hear it burping back through where I took the filter off. That's that noise. So I actually like to do that. Letting the air get in there and help push this out will make sure that I get as much of the old fluid out as possible. So we've got the pin back in, or I'm sorry, the plug back in, and now I'm just taking a little bit of hydraulic fluid and rubbing it around this seal. Makes a good seal. So what you're going to do is we're going to put this back on the tractor, which I need to get readjusted here. So this is the smaller filter. You can see it is an LVA 16054. That is the top filter, which goes right up in there. Again, we're just going to put this a little bit hand tight here, and then we'll just give it a half a turn with the wrench. Oops, wrong way. And I'd say that's probably tight enough. And then I got to replace this filter here, and I'll grab that. And so this filter is the larger filter, and I believe the top one is the transmission, and I believe this is considered to be the hydraulics, even though they're all kind of the same. But you can see this is LVA 14703, and again, I'll try to give you an angle here. I've already put some fluid on the seal here, so I didn't bore you with doing that twice. And get this put back on. We've already, as I said, reinstalled the plug, so you know, we're just about ready to. My tire gets in the way here, and that's probably about good enough. Actually, when I took that one off, I could almost turn it off with my hand pretty much, so it wasn't that tight. I'm gonna try something here, and we'll see if it works or not. But I'm going to, you can see right here, got oil running all over. And according to Tractor Time with Tim, if you just spray, whoops, sorry I hit the camera here. If you just spray some of this, and actually I don't have the John Deere version, but just the electronic parts cleaner, that stuff will come right off. And oddly enough, I think he may be right. Interestingly, it smells a lot like carb cleaner or brake cleaner. But, you know, I do think he's got something here that this really did make it easy to clean up this mess. So we're here at the back of the tractor, and right here on the right side, we have a cap. That is your filler cap. I cleaned this off with a paper towel, just so you know. So we didn't get any contaminants down in there. One of the issues I'm going to have is getting a funnel in here. And so I think I'm going to let this down even further. Let it go all the way to the floor. And that's gonna do it. And nope. I thought that would hold there, it doesn't seem to want to. And I'm going to move the camera now that I've moved everything. And over on, actually I'll show you this before we get set up here. That little yellow tab on the left side, that's actually where you check the level. So I think we can safely put in a couple gallons here and before we have to be concerned about checking the level. So I just referred to the manual. And it says it takes 24.4 quarts. So that's 6 gallons. And luckily I sent my wife and daughter to get some more High Guard. But I think since he told me 3, after 3 gallons, I'm gonna check it and see what I come up with. So before I tackle the engine oil, which I'm sure most of you know, this is I'm going to tackle this air cleaner. This is a dust relief valve. You just squeeze this, make sure nothing comes out. Seems like it's in good shape. It's not cracked or anything. Pop both of these off. This should just pull straight out, and it does. And we'll just move this out of our way. And then there's actually 2 filters. This is the outer, and then there's an inner one, the primary. The primary looks fine. You know, I've never changed this. I did blow it out one time. If I look towards the light, I can't really see through it. You can see it's pretty dirty. So I did get a new one. You know, I wanted to make sure that tractor breathes well. So, and again, I mentioned earlier in the video that, you know, I do a lot of bush hogging and that's a dusty process, mowing lawn with this. So, you know, replacing this is just good maintenance. Again, it's 400 hours, and it wasn't too bad. I have looked at it numerous times to make sure that, you know, I wasn't running the tractor with a very dirty air filter, but got too much stuff in my hands. But you know, it's one of those things that it's just good maintenance, making sure that you have a good filter in there. And looks like that's lined up. And there, we've got that changed. So that's all it takes to change that primary or that secondary filter. Honestly, if you keep that clean, it'll be a long time before you need to change the other one. The other thing I like to do, and I'll just turn you around here a little bit. Heavy on this magnetic mount. I like to check the tension on my alternator belt. Seems really fine right now. You can see I can barely, you know, it's got a little play, but nothing that would require me to tighten it up at all. So that looks good. Don't see any cracks in it or anything. So feel good about that. I've already checked, and I'll take you up to the front here. I've already checked the fluid. There's a line here. It's where you check where it's cold. This is checking it when it's hot. I check that pretty frequently. I'm actually going to get my shop vac in here. You can see I've got some fine dust. It's made its way into the radiator. I want to make sure I clean all that out of there as well. And you know, I just go over it, look for oil leaks, anything like that that may stand out, and it looks pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back under the tractor, and I'm going to change the oil in it and change the fuel filters. So we're back on the left side of the tractor, as though you were sitting in the seat. And before I do the engine oil, I'm going to change out these fuel filters. And this tractor has 2 fuel filters on it. There's one on the other side as well. So change this one out. I did look for water in the water separator. There is none, so I'm not going to bother with that. If there was, I would definitely be changing that as well. But while I'm right here, I figured I may as well just drain this out before I move to the other side. Kind of getting sprayed here a little bit with diesel fuel. Particular filter, I'll give you the number. It is a I believe that's an I, U800645. So if you're making this change and you need to order it, that's the filter you're looking for this one. So just give this a little bit of a snugging, and which way am I going? Oh, wrong way. Sometimes I don't know which way I'm going with these oil filters. I gotta challenge myself to figure it out. So that's changed. So I'm down the right side of the tractor. Right down here, they've made this oil filter easy to get to. I have a proper adapter to loosen it up. Normally I don't do the filter first, but in this case I am. And the reason I'm doing the filter first is I'm not exactly sure what the filter number is that is proper for this tractor. I had 2 filters, and I have a feeling that one of them is for my 2210, which is the tractor I had prior to this 2032R. And so if I do find that, it's going on eBay or something, or maybe even just in the garbage, so I don't ever run into this issue again. But see, we're draining out now. So unfortunately, it is a, what is it? Can't read that. M806419. So I'm gonna shut off the camera here and go and see what numbers I have. I know I have both that are about the same size, so I'll check that out. I think one's a 419 and one's a 418, but now we know. So in fact, I did have the correct filter. I've already dressed the seal here, so we'll be putting it back in there. Like I said, I usually don't do it this way, but in this case I thought it might be worthwhile. If I didn't have the right filter, I probably wouldn't have went any further in changing the oil. So luckily I have the right one. Get all these fluids changed out today. Really the only thing I'm not changing is the antifreeze coolant. You know, that doesn't need to be flushed all that often. It's nowhere near And again, I hate these things. They don't always work that well, but that's on there pretty tight. I'm pretty sure I can't move it with my hand. I'll try. No, it's on there tight. So anyway, now we'll go back underneath. I'll actually show you what I was doing in between recording. Actually, this is where my mowing deck connects. It goes back to a U-joint here. I'll see if I can get the camera up in there. It's right there. I greased that up. I greased my drive shaft to the front. These are things that, you know, when the mowing deck's on or something, it's kind of hard to do. There's not a ton of grease fittings underneath, but as I've been seeing them, I've been hitting them. I kind of know where they are. There's one on that drive shaft here for that. There's one on each end of the drive shaft. You do have to take this little cover off to get to that one. So I took care of that while I was under there. So now we're gonna drain the oil. I don't remember what size the oil filter plug is, but we'll figure that out here. It's located right up in there, and just got to reach for my sockets here. Got too much in the way, to be honest with you. The good thing about doing this all at once is, you know, I get my tools out once, I clean them all up, put them away, and we're done. So this takes 4.5 quarts. I'm using 15W40 common oil for diesel. So we'll see. That one's a little too small. Looks like the next size up will be right. I can't really see it from the angle on that, so I apologize. So we are using an 11/16, which tells me it's probably metric, but again, using the hex sockets, it's not critical to have it exact. Ugh. Must have felt especially strong that day that I put that on. And so, just talking about changing all of this, I ended up getting about six gallons. About 6 came out. It took about 6 gallons and a half a quart to fill it again. So if you're doing your transmission, that'll give you an idea what you need to buy. I wish I would have bought just a 5-gallon can of it, although the gallon jugs made it a little easier getting it back in. And I bought a couple of quarts to help that. I'm actually gonna take the fuel fill cap off. Hopefully that'll make that drain a little bit better. You can see when I let the air into the crankcase, everything's starting to work a little bit better. Just to show you on this oil cap, try to put this in your purview. There is an O-ring on there. I do inspect that each time, make sure that's in good shape. Looks fine. I don't know if I mentioned it, maybe I'm repeating myself. This takes 4.5 quarts of oil. So we'll put 4 in, run it a little bit, and then check it and top it off. And then you can probably hear, I'll actually, seeing as you probably don't want to watch oil drain, take you out here. Got one neighbor mowing, another one up here. This guy just finished up. We have had tons of rain, tons. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I was gone this week. I had to go to Tampa for my company, and I came home and I couldn't believe the lawn. Apparently we had a lot of rain, then we had a lot of sun a couple of days, and a lot of humidity. So definitely is one of those things that makes the grass grow. So my hope is to get this all back together here. I've already put the cover on the other side because I'm pretty much done with that cover, or that side of the tractor. Once I changed the fuel filter, I was done over there. So anyway, I will let this drain out. I'll come back to you and show you the final fuel filter that we need to change. We'll get it started up. I'll put the mowing deck on and get mowing. I have to tell you, if there's one thing I hate to do, it's to mow grass. I don't know why, I just can't stand it. So you know, it's one of those things I procrastinate on, and you know, even though I got a great tractor to do it with, it's just so boring. So so anyway, maybe I'll even show you how that drive over deck works at the end of this video. Stay tuned. I did vacuum out, as you saw, some of that radiator. Be honest with you, the vacuum didn't work all that great. Now you see I got a little bit of a problem trying to get the oil into that funnel. It's gonna be too hard to do that with the camera. So I'm gonna fill this back with oil, and then I'll do that final filter change for the fuel. And actually that should work out great, because I've got the I got the diesel fuel running into the pan when it's already dirty, so that should make cleanup a little bit easier. So while that 4th quart is draining, I thought I may as well change this fuel filter. Got everything put back together here in terms of plugs back in, filters tight, so let me do that. But we'll quickly make this change. It doesn't, this one doesn't take much. On there pretty tight. I usually don't tighten them that much, but apparently that day I did. And as I said, having that diesel fuel in that pan, that actually works out pretty nice. You know, I can just kind of wipe that around, and actually I'll get a little bit on my fingers here, rub on that seal. Could be why it's tight too, and diesel fuel doesn't exactly lubricate like motor oil. So as I complete this, that's pretty much everything for the 400-hour service. Again, I timed it in a way that I knew I would be doing the engine oil, you know, just like I say, get everything out once, you make one mess. So just to end the video, I'll do a drive over mowing deck demonstration and kind of wrap this video up. Probably won't be much talking in that. So anyway, I want to thank all of you that are subscribing, all of you that watch. Do appreciate your comments, and hope this video helped someone out. Hope you got a couple of tips here. Maybe even decided that, hey, maybe you won't pay your dealer this time, because really everything I've done today you can easily do at home. So hope you enjoyed it, and thanks again. I'll see you in the next video. So I failed to tell you what the fuel filter was, that second one that I changed. It is an MIU 803127. So sorry about that. I actually have been trying to keep up with what size wrenches I'm using and what filters I'm putting on, but apparently I missed that one. So do apologize, but at least I caught it before the video was edited.